Actually, now you can hear me. Good morning, everybody. I had everything on mute. Um, so I today want to start with thank God we're all alive. Right? Good morning, everybody doing? Take life in perspective a little bit. We're in a blessed country. Everyone's got it coming together on just the coronavirus and just all of that stuff. Um, it's real. Um, it's real cool that different organizations doing being very creative and using technology to keep the businesses afloat. But think about it, it's really amazing the likelihood of many organizations going bankrupt and literally being creative is the only way they can actually generate revenue. So it's real cool to see that type of innovation instead of just kind of give it up and like, all right, So I think that's pretty cool. Now, the topic of this podcast, and let's see if I'm gonna try to. I know that some of my streams are very long, so I'm trying to see if I can be more efficient with my time and see if I can knock this out in about 30 minutes. No promises though. I like to talk. So, software I'm using. Let's start there. Software I'm using for the CCNP. Now, I would like to thank again Network Chuck for introducing me to this. And look, and let's how about this? Since I referenced him like 3 times so far, I think it's worth giving him a shout out on the tube. Right, so 1 second here. Boom, boom, boom. Actually, this is perfect right here. I hate when things take a while to load. All right. Boom. Network Chuck. And let's do the main. Boom. As you can see, I am subscribed to the IT blog, right? YouTube channel. So this guy is real cool. Super positive guy. He seems really happy just with his life opportunities that he has had and took advantage of every single one of them, right? As everyone should be doing. And he loves networking. And honestly, to be honest, I think he just loves technology as a whole uh, in his life, right? I think he wants to share that with everyone. Like he does some real cool stuff with his brother, right? Passed AWS cloud practitioner, and then he also passed the CCNA and watched some of that kind of as motivation to help me surpass my negative view of my ability to take the test and pass it. But in any case, when I was studying my CCNP, it was a whole new world because you type in how to get CCNA, there's a bunch of training. Now, if you do the same thing and want you to correct me on this, let's see. So there's a CCNP. Oh, actually, it's on Cyberry, which is funny. I'll talk about that soon. There's a CBT Nuggets on it. There is Udemy, and I'll actually show you which one I got on Udemy that it did help me as an additional resource. And then boom, there's Network Chuck CCNP and CCNA, and then this is like not a video. And it just this tells you how to explain the path, I believe. Excuse me. Ooh, bless me. And the CBT Nuggets again, Network Chuck. Like there's no like here it goes. The first time is like training, fast lane training, right? So a little background on my side is that I had taken some training before, like a boot camp for the CCNA through my college degree. Now, I was like, CCNP, what's that about? Like, how am I gonna best prepare myself for this test? I had so much time and study and resources available for my CCNA. There's even stuff where, I mean, there's similar stuff for the CCNP regards to like hacked or available answers to the test, right? But for me, the CCNP was like, I don't know anyone who's taken it before. I personally at the time, now I know someone. I finally met one person who has taken the test, but I didn't know where to go. So I saw Networks Chuck's video, and it wasn't just one. It was a combination of a few of the CCNP stuff. Honestly, if you just type CCNP Network Chuck, it'll probably pop up. I don't know if it'll pop. If it'll like search. Yeah. So Chara has some stuff here. Is it worth it? And it is a new one. 8 months. Oh no, it's not new. 8 months ago. How to get your CCNP? I think this is the one where he talks about the software. So I watched this one. How to get your CCNP in 2020? No CCNA required. And he breaks down like his whole thing was like get 3 things, like a book, a lab, and a practice test. Or he like, or maybe the practice test was like a book, study resource, a lab, and a video series. And then he said maybe practice test. I think it's like maybe a video series. This is for me to learn. A book, a lab, and a practice test. I think those are the things that you need. But he discovered, I think there's like 4 or 5 that he mentions, and then he mentions the particular software. So using that, so I looked up some of the training resources. I looked up on Udemy, and then this is actually new. Who's doing this one? I did not buy this one. I probably will. Created by Net. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Not boring. Lecture so far, so that's good. So manipulating routing path. No, this isn't the test I'm taking. Yeah, I'm on 401. This is a different one. So you have to be careful too. All CCNPs aren't the same. So this is the 300 series. This is enterprise routing. But anyways, if you're gonna take the routing track, this is a good resource. It's $11, $12. I don't think I'm gonna take it. I'm sorry, my allergies are acting up. That's why I'm like. So this says both of them, but everything that I saw right now wasn't the case. So the one I purchased was by Chris Bryant, and he has a book. I should have read the books too. I read 3 books on the CCNP. This is what I did. CCNP all-in-one video bootcamp with Chris Bryant. This is just a t-shirt exam. So this one here for $12. This is what I purchased. And I went through every single one of these for the route. So this does route. Here's all this route stuff. I went through all the routes, not the t-shirts or anything, but just the route stuff. In correlation with the book, his book. I followed his book using the book video series, and I read the study guide itself. So that's what I did on one aspect on video series. So I did purchase a video series. The only reason I purchased a video series because it was $12 at the time, so $12 now, and I was like, it's cool. And this video series, I think it did something mainly for my confidence, fact that I'm doing everything possible. I think if I would have not paid the video series and read the book, at least understood some of the stuff, and then no, take the back. There's some aspects. There were some things here. I forgot what exactly that I was like, oh, I think route redistribution. I had a real hard time with route distribution. Um, some of the shit's real boring though, man. Like he goes into super detail, and I was just like, fuck. And then for me, I'm the type of person who's like, I want to say that I went through every single one of these route training courses. I don't want to say, well, I skipped over some. I don't like saying that, so that I can give a good full review and I understand how to improve next time. So if I do half-ass on these videos and then fail the test, I can't say that this doesn't help me. It did help me. I still failed the test, but now that I'm thinking back, I do remember some things clicking, and there weren't a lot of things, but there's a few things clicking. That was like, oh, okay, I need to go back to the video series real quick. I need to go back to my notes. What did I do when I did this? Oh, I did that. Okay, great. But at the same time, the answers were in the study guide, so it's kind of like like I do remember going back and forth and kind of like knowing that it was just hard to find in the book. In the study guide, it's hard to find in the study guide, but I knew where to pull it because I pinned it and you can save some of the stuff on Udemy. So I knew where it was at there. So it's easy for me to reference. However, it's up to you. But $12, man, for me, the $12 to pass a $300 worth exam at the time, it was like worth it for me. So I was okay. So let me do the video series. So I got this video series. Now, I did purchase the Chris Bryant book. It's like CCNP Chris Bryant. It's like a bulldog book. CCNP Chris Bryant. This. I bought the route exam, this exact one. And granted, I don't think the prices was. I think I actually paid $30 or $20 at the time. Because this is an outdated book, right? But this is what I purchased. I purchased this. I will never do that again. I do like he condenses the stuff. I know, never mind. I think I would do it again. I would do it again. Because he actually gives you scenarios and labs for the route distribution that don't pop up in the route book. The route book, the study guide is here, will cover a very generic, not generic, it's very detailed, but it kind of explains it to you. Here's the concepts, but don't give you an example. Sometimes they give you examples, but not all the time. And sometimes, like what this book did was he highlighted the examples. He didn't go over the core concepts. He actually gave you labs. So all of the commands that are in this book, he actually modified them. No, he used those same commands, and he gave you examples for you to practice. And with this, what I did with this was, in combination, once I found a good lab, because I pulled up the packet tracer, I couldn't do the commands for the CCNP on them. I'm so pissed. And Cisco doesn't release anything that allows you virtually to be able to work on those labs. It's like they're forcing you to buy fucking equipment. The thing I hate about Cisco, man, it's just like, dude, like you're actively making it harder for me to take the test, and not necessarily by the skill. It's just like I'm broke. It's like what, man? So I found this. This is Bozon NetSim. Now, pretty much, I'm going to do like a quick overview of what Network Chuck already did. If you want more detailed, I would honestly like shoot more traffic or his site for an example of what this does, because I don't want to spin it up right now. So we're gonna do a whole thing. I think that'll be for a different episode. But what this does was it goes through each one of these labs, and there's a difficult whatever. Like I did a bunch of these for like multicast routing, route distribution, policy based routing. This was a good lab. These labs are hard, right? Like these labs are fucking hard, man. I was 2 jobs ago. I pretty much just had to study. Like you're okay to study all the time. So there wasn't a lot of work for me to be done. We need to get some stuff done before I can actually start working. So you're like you can study all you want. So it's great. So I have a laptop and I was like this on a small little area. Obviously, I didn't have like a desk and a chair. It was more like a small little area, or sometimes we just give us a chair and we just sit there, and I'll have like my deal like right, and I'll have like my book right here on the floor, like right. This was hard. Like this is worth every fucking penny. And so let's go on pricing. So I wouldn't take this until you're fully committed to reading the book. Once you fully read the book, the only reason I have this now is because of my old CCNP studies last year. I bought the books, I bought the material, I read this book, and then I bought the software. I think maybe at the same time. No, I didn't. No. I finished because I remember I finished the book, took a bunch of notes on the book, and then about the software. Once about the software, I was like, once I'm in software mode, once I'm in lab mode, I'm in lab mode. That's it. Uh, okay, I think it's dropping. Okay, I'm in lab mode. That's it. I don't do anything else. I'm in going to take the test in about a month mode. So I'm like, study, lab, 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 lab. Why? Because I learned from the CCNA prior that if you can't do the labs, you will fail the test. You can get all the checkpoints right and all of that. You will fail the test if you get a lab wrong. My goal is to get every single lab correct. And I think that's why I failed the CCNP was because I think I got a lab wrong. There was one of the labs I got wrong. I want to be able to, for me, I like to sit down and test and know that if they give me a scenario for me to type something, I will get it. Boom, got it. I understand the concept so well. I know the commands. I know how to get to the commands. I've been to a scenario. I put myself through a lot of tests, a practice test, for me to prepare myself as much as possible for this real world exam. Now, this will get you there, right? So so that's why I put so much energy into that. Once I read the concepts and feel like, okay, I'm good here. Now I would like to try some of the stuff. So put muscle memory because it's time too. So this test, by the way, I'm hyping this up super hard right now, but I love the CCNP test. I'm gonna get myself excited. The CCNP test in itself, I felt like leave again. I've spoken about this before. I got out of that chair super happy. I felt like an engineer because during the test they have you do. I want HTTP as traffic pointed and routed through this network, not through this one. Policy-based routing. I want to make sure that these 2 home runs, I want one to fail over to the other. If one of them goes down, set it up. I'm like, all right. It's like a customer asking you for something, and you, being a technical engineer, going in there and doing it. So I think that was real, real awesome. In any case, this is what I purchased. I purchased the net simulator, and then I purchased the practice test. I did them actually separate. I don't recommend that. However, me putting in the scenario because I always, this is real world. This podcast is about real world scenarios. So with this boson net sim, and I apologize for people who will be listening to this on a podcast, not visually, but I have this boson net simulator up with the routing and the labs, policy routing lab up under the route exam for the boson lab. So for me, I was in a money crunch. I couldn't spend the money all up front to save a little bit on the practice exam, all these like cool stuff. So I had to be creative. I was like, I got to take a loss here and purchase bits at a time, because that one big lump sum investment I wasn't really ready for. But at the same time, I want to take the test because it was going to expire, which is another conversation that I want to bring up in the end of this. Don't rush, right? But so when I purchased this, I purchased just the net sim. Now let's look over pricing real quick. Now, just so that we can put you in perspective to see if this is exactly what you're looking for. Because if it isn't, just know that you'll have to spend. I can't imagine me taking the CCNP and passing it without using Boson. Or no, I don't imagine it at all, because you have to think about it. Like, and I know that I know Network Check touched on this before, and maybe I should make a video about it. Preparing to take an exam, preparing to start a certification track and get certified, you have to make your workspace as convenient as possible. And I thought it was common sense, and because when I didn't know about it, when I didn't know, like, way back when I was like super lazy. Well, not lazy, I just didn't have any drive to do something, right? I was just like really, really way younger, right? It was like, I'm talking about when I was 13, 14, 15. I would make a lot of excuses. I don't want to do that. Why? Well, it's because I'll do this first, I'll do that first. I was just like, nah, I don't want to do it. Because it wasn't convenient. Because the work to get the work to get myself started was longer than the actual effort of me doing the work. And you do double and you're just like not motivated, right? It's like going to the gym. If every time you go to the gym you have to drive an hour and a half away because you like that gym, but the only reason you don't go often is because it's so far away, but there's a gym like 10 minutes away, you're like, oh, well, it's because like I don't know anyone there. Like, but you don't go to the one an hour away because it's too far. Like, yeah, they go to the one 10 minutes away, but I don't know anyone there. Like, so what? But the goal is not to know people. The goal is to actually lose weight and be healthy. Oh, it's kind of the same thing. So what I'm trying to say by that is, um, you can go, you can find other software that's cheaper, that may be free, like GNS3 is free. You can set up virtual. The reason why, quick, so GNS3 is a good option, right? And I want to get into that one day. So one of the reasons why I want to make this build coming up in the next maybe month or so is so that way I can do GNS3 stream video edit all in one machine, right? And GNS3 is like a virtual, or you can install it like on like a client end software, or you can install it as a VM. Now, it takes up a lot of resources because you're literally spinning up virtual images of like Cisco. So you're loading the firmware onto a little image, a little like virtual router, and inside of a virtual box, right? It's pretty cool. But often it breaks often. The reviews are that it breaks often. I tried to install it, fucking break my. I didn't break it. It just shut it down. Overwhelmed by my laptop, so I had to remove it. And I had like 8 gigs. It's just like not built for it. But I was like, I'm gonna try it. It was way back when it just came out. And then I was doing research. I'm now starting to realize like it's starting to become more stable and all that stuff. And Network Chuck's it's a big game about it. I know David Bombal is like super pro on it. He's like on there. He's all over the place. Now the issue with that is you have to set up the environment. You have to prepare the environment itself. So you set up custom labs to practice things. Now, why did I say about preparing and making life easier for you? So the Boson NetSim has all these pre-built labs, and you can make labs on top of this. So you can make labs, you can do custom labs, you can pull from the community. This might take a while to load. You can pull it from the community and download those labs, and the labs that are already pre-built and like made for Boson and come with the software. And people give reviews like this one can very well be a version 2, awesome reviews, so I would use this one, right? I would make some. Like it allows the community to build more labs and share with each other as a top of getting you started, so that way it prepares you more. So I did some of these. I started building it, but then I got frustrated because like again, making life easier for me. I was doing a laptop. It was like was acting a little clunky on my old laptop, and granted that laptop's like 5 years old, so it's like, all right, now I got a new one, so it's working much more smoothly. It also, the downside of this is that it does require internet connection, so you have to be on Wi-Fi, you have to be on something. So I have a hotspot, so I connect the hotspot to the fucking thing, and then that's how I always did it. So I made it work, right? But this is mainly built for like at home. You sit down, you go to work, read, come back home, right? So I don't have what I did was actually try to like double time it, take everything to work and come back and study more. But in any case, make it easier for you, right? So here it's like pre-built, everything, it works. This thing, I think it maybe crashed like once or twice, but again, I point that as my laptop freaking out over so much resources that it's taking up. But again, I have 8 gigs of RAM. The old laptop, this is an i7. I have a i5 in the old one. I had 8 gigs of RAM. I do have M.2. This also is M.2, I believe. So you so take that as it comes. But for me, my review on this is amazing. But if you do GNS3, other free products, right? You either be limited on like Packet Tracer, you get limited ability to do some things, or GNS3, you have to build up the environment yourself and then fix it. I don't want to sit down. It's like buying a very cheap laptop. For an IT guy, my base minimum is always $100 or more on my laptop, right? Either cash straight up, I buy an $800 worth of laptop, or I built one for $600. In reality, it's because I was able to like buy some cheap parts on eBay or whatever, and Frankenstein it up. But all in all, if somebody would go in like 16 gigs of RAM, an i7 or maybe an i5 Intel, like 5th gen or 4th gen, whatever gen they are at right now, SSDs for sure. That's like the bare minimum. Right now I'm at 8, right? But this laptop's at 8. I make it work. Just because yeah, like I know what to do to make it work. Like right now, to process a video for me, I have to shut it. I close everything up. I know what the problem is, so that way I can work around my limitations of getting a certain laptop. And even this laptop is expensive, right? So some of this stuff will add up, right? And a lot of people don't talk about it, right? Getting a certification, like how much does it cost you? Now, granted, don't let me tell you that you have to spend X amount of money and then get the certificate. Don't do that. Try it and then prove me wrong, right? Say like, look, well, I did this shit in at a library PC because I wasn't in a situation where I have a desk or an office. Like when I first started my degree path, going to my college degree, I was studying on my bed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was studying on my bed, and that's how I would do my homework. And one time I was studying on my mom's couch while watching football and on mute, and I was like doing labs there. So you could do it any form of fashion, like, to make it work for you. Now, this does have its limitations. Obviously, you have to install it, all that stuff on your workstation. Again, connect to Wi-Fi or internet, so it can synchronize and everything. So it does use that. So I think it allows for like people not to steal the software because it's all local. That's how they make it all good. But and I forgot what I was going to show you here. Oh, boson cost. So now, again, I don't want to discourage anyone in regard, but I want to make it more reality. Like, what does all this cost? Um, Obviously, for me, the cost benefits, like here's the cost and benefits I like, beyond the frame, right? It's like, it's insane what these certificates how they benefit you in your career, like how much your thing would just skyrocket. And just because I'm living proof of it, um, for me, I remember watching a video when I first started studying the CCNA, and the guy was saying that I was watching a video. He said it's incredible how many people will tell you not to do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And this test, and it was talking about the CCNA, not the CCNP, not the CCIE, the CCNA, the associate level, entry level certificate for Cisco. And he was saying, this will teach you how to study. This will teach you how to be dedicated. This test has taught me how to, like, now I'm like, dude, like, he's right, right? This test is very difficult. And also, because of it, the industry sees it, and you're going to benefit from it. So don't let anyone kind of tell you otherwise. The costliness, I know some of the stuff is gonna be expensive. Like, it's already like, uh, this is so. I didn't buy this. I don't think you should buy this for the CCNA. That's one thing for sure. Cheap out for the CCNA. You would cheap out hard, especially like for me. I was going to a low level job, and I spent a lot of my tax money on stuff I didn't need. But I was now how I pass the information on. Packet Tracer is free. Sign up to whatever Cisco tells you to sign up because it's free. Everything's free for Packet Tracer. You download that on your computer. You buy the book, get yourself some flashcards, and you're good to go, right? Same thing. Read the book, write flashcards. An hour or two a day of labbing it. So go through the book, do the flashcards, kind of do that, use the reference, build labs there, and then the labs are super quick with Packet Tracer. And the reason why I kind of made the labs building dramatic on all the emulators and the simulators is because they actually they're like bigger icons, and it just takes a while for you to set it up. Literally, Packet Tracer, you can set up a basic a flat network with like 5 switches and a router, and do router on a stick in like 5 minutes. They load up. You can actually increase the real time speed of the whole fucking thing. It's just like it's super fast. It's built for that, for people to just start right away into the Cisco environment, which is good. But then the next level up is just like a whole other world. So let's look at pricing for the CCNP Enterprise. Now, some of this may be different from what I've seen, so let's just see some real world stuff. So for the NetSim on Encore, it's 175, and NetSim for the enterprise routing is 179. I'm sorry, both of them 175. So wonder what. Okay, so here's the boot camp, and here's the routing. So this is expensive, so let's not even look at that because I will not do that. I feel like I got ripped off. See. So simulator, and then exam topics, related kit. So I bought a kit. I'm trying to find the kit that it came with. So this is a I don't know if that was with the labs. Alright, so these are the lab topics. See, I want to buy it. What happens if I have to buy it? Yes, it's 179. This is great. This is way cheaper. Why did I spend so much money? I spent like 3 something, but that's probably why. I think I buy routing, switching, and T-shoot. That's why. So if you look at, they were both 179. So that actually adds up good. So 179. I don't feel so bad now. Why am I not clicky? Times that by 2, yeah, 359. So I did this. I paid 359 for the lab, switch, and route. I'm sorry, T-shoot, switch, and route, NetSim, and then a practice exam. So I paid 353 something. So that's good. They split it up now. So there's like because now you can actually based and you look at my old video, you can do a CCNP in different versions. So it's not one whole thing anymore. So you're not forced to take 3 tests. You're forced to only take one, and then optional three of 5 of them. So you could be like wireless implementation, wireless design, um, automation, SD-WAN, and there's another one. Oh, and then routing switching. So this is cool. There's actually a benefit now. So it's actually much cheaper than I was kind of preparing you guys mentally for. So it's great. So 179 will get you the Encore, will be the base one, right? So that's I think this will take you 6 months to 8 months, right? Or maybe even a year. It just depends. It might take me a year. I don't know. Now the courseware, I wouldn't buy this. Um, I don't even know if they're even giving it out for. Yeah, they're probably not giving it out yet. They will come. They give it out for the CCNP. They will. I don't think they're out yet because the CCNP stuff is like really, really new. So I think they're still working on it, in my opinion. So practice exams. See if they have. See if they have one right now for CCNP and see what the cost will help me do one. This is initial research. This is pretty much research out there. So they don't. It doesn't look like they have it. Yeah, because he kind of routed me to this whole place. Yeah, our development team is working diligently. Yeah, so the exam max practice exam is coming soon. So there's still I bought this practice exam for the route. Like Network Chuck mentioned this too. He's like, if you pass the CCMP Net Sim practice exam for Boson, if you pass that, you will pass the CCMP real exam because that thing was harder than the. I never passed it. Yeah, I always scored like 68, 72%. Like I never, and it was pretty accurate to what I scored in the exam. I scored a 718 out of a of a passing score of a 790. So I never, so it was pretty much on point. Now for me, I wouldn't. I will make sure I pass this first instead of getting frustrated, and then kind of just like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna just pass it. I think I'm good enough on the study material, so I'm just pass. I'm just go take it. I would delay it until you fully pass this test because this exam is extremely hard. Um, it's like it's based on percentages, so it's like I don't know if you took in a boot camp and all that stuff. The Cisco boot camps are pretty similar to that as well, where you take it and you do like a lab and it gives you a percentage of what you did, and then you can do like review what you've done, and it'll give you like an X, you haven't done this part, and then you can go back, you have to redo the command, or sometimes do the right different order, and then it'll click and boom. And these exams are extremely hard. They don't repeat themselves often enough, and it's really hard for you to memorize the steps. So which is great because in your head you might not want to remember it, but you start remembering it, just remembering patterns, and like even if you're not trying to do it because you're trying to test yourself. Um, but this is really hard to do that. So I just it is a whole hype game on Boson. So the pricing is extremely reasonable now. Before the entry price was uh 359, 358, right? Around that. For just pretty much a whole package of what you're trying to get. It's still kind of like that if you're trying to do both at the same time. But if I were you, again, I would do one at a time, knock one out, knock the other one out. There is no deal. Back then, it was like what I was talking about is that there's deals where you buy two for $300 instead of 360, right? Something like that. And I'm like, dude, like I can only afford a certain amount right now. So what I wanted to do was buy the courseware. Like I wanted to buy the whole enchilada. Like there was packages where it comes with the courseware, Comes with all the net sim for every single one of them and CCNA if you like it. So it's kind of like you can buy the CCNA stuff and the CCNP stuff. If you have the money to spend, instead of doing a video series, I recommend this and buying a book. That's about, if you look at like all the costs, that's $500. Oh, see, well, right here you can't even do it. I can't even tell you that because CCN. Why even go with a CCNA? Right? There's like you don't really have to. I recommend it, but people it won't. There's no incentive. Back then you had to take the CCNA. So to buy stuff in a bundle, CCNA, CCNP, was like it made sense for somebody who's trying to get to that level. But now you can actually jump to the CCNP right away. I will buy the book for the CCNA, read that, take the CCNP, and fail it a few times so you pass. So that kind of be like my suggestion. But back then you buy. That's why like in this stuff, they don't actually. They say it's $100. So you can buy literally everything that you need. Like 179 times, by 2 plus 100, 4 plus tax, let's just say a $50 tax, $508. Let's assume the exam is $100 also, the practice exam, 608. So out the door, likely a $608. You get the CCNA, CCNP, and then if you think my prices are outrageous, like my estimations are outrageous, if you look at man, where did I buy? Let's see, CCNA. CCNA. It's not. Oh, these guys are expensive. I'm actually surprised they're not up here because they're pretty. IT video. I'm actually surprised they're not up here. Oh, it's crazy. CBT Nuggets like pumping it out. Udemy, CBT Nuggets. You probably know I'm a trash talker. That's why. No, they're actually a really good platform. And they actually give you. Actually, I don't know how to do a rack tokens. INE. So, let's look at stuff real quick. So the rack tokens are really good apparently for the CCIE. So there's that. And I actually was doing research on how to like find it cheaper, but I don't think you can. I think it's better just to do a rack on that instead of like spinning up some VMs on AWS, charge you per hour. Content library. Discover. See, like, this guy is really cool. Oh, is it him? Yeah, he's really cool. He's really knowledgeable. So the Encore, and then I'm wondering if I can get pricing. So I want to start that. Let's just start. Get started. It's locked. We'll see if I can find pricing. That's been a ridiculous model. Yeah, see. So so this is yearly, this is monthly. So I purchased something like this a couple years back for my tax return money. Was it worth it? Oh no, it was probably worth it. Can't determine whether I didn't need it. I think for the CCNP, I probably should have done this instead of that would have been a more beneficial CCNP course, because then the Udemy, I feel like that would have been more of a in-depth course, and this is for higher level stuff. Again, like when you're trying to understand some more higher level concepts, I think this is where you start getting the higher pay, like charging more really expensive. Uh, but anyways, I did this. I wouldn't do this. Like I won't do this again at all. Not for the CCNA. It's definitely not for the CCNA. Just read the book. Read the book till it falls apart. Right? Like if you don't, like this isn't something you need. Right? This is for like luxury stuff where I don't know. Unfortunately, like some people just don't understand by reading it, and they're like, "Look, I have the money. I can do it in half the time." Da 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 da. Is like an option for them, or yeah, or like I don't know, whatever. They have some spare money and like they want to get to the CC whatever faster. I would do this, but in my opinion, I'll spend a year. If someone was like, you don't need to take, there's no hidden knowledge. Like for sure, there's no, literally, they go through the stuff here. It's just a different way of explaining it to help certain individuals like that need more of that, like the video series help type of thing to gain that knowledge faster. My opinion, spend longer and to do this, save money, right? If you just aren't able to afford this, I want to do this again. Maybe for the CCIE. I think I would do it for the CCIE. For CCNP, I think I'll spend more time and try it a few times until I'm like, all right. Because if you think about it, if you keep failing the test, you may equate to this total, right? So if you take the CCNA like 4 times, right? Each test back then was $150. I don't know what it is now. If you take it 4 times, $600. So you better pass the fifth time because then it's 750 and then right. If you spend the one-time fee of $1,000, right, and you pass it the first time, you're all in for 150, like that, right? So and you save the time. So it's kind of like it's kind of like that's where the justification comes in. For me, I failed it 3 times. So yeah, and then I took it 2 times. So I took it 2 more times. So I spent 750 plus some other shit that I didn't need, thinking that I had needed to find this like some knowledge in the world that I was missing. That once I got it, full on past the test. It was just me spending more time and taking the time, and I'm rushing myself. But in any case, it is a video series that's very at a maybe at a high level I would pay for it, but not at a low level of the CCNA. All you need is a book, packet tracer, again, and some flashcards. Now, this is a series that I started and stopped almost immediately. Cyber. Now, this wasn't for the CCNA or CCNP, any type of stuff. This is more of I want to take in a security course. I looked up some security schools, IT security schools, and they were mentioning cyber. You will sign me up free for cyber and all that. And I wonder what that is. I started paying for it because I'm like, maybe if they're basing some of their curriculum on cyber, I can actually pretty much learn some of the stuff there without actually taking the curriculum and paying for that. It's too much. There's a bunch of shit here, man. Like, it goes back to, again, learning versus certifications. Like, obviously, you learn stuff when you get certified. What I'm talking about is that you're not learning for a particular goal. You're just trying to add stuff to your library of knowledge, right? Cybrary. And this is a good place to go when you just like want to do stuff in IT and you want to and it's hard to find out a path, right? Like when I was taking this, it was very like I didn't know what to do. Like I was taking something and I'm like, what is it for though? Like what am I getting? I'm getting knowledge, but am I though? Like, can I use this? It felt that's the way I felt. So it was like it's like a video series on demand, and it was just a bunch of availability. There's a bunch of stuff. PowerShell, like uh, Python, security, like just like basic stuff to advanced stuff, different like people there. It's just like it's awesome. It's a bunch of like I think I might go back to this at some point maybe. But honestly, I prefer like if I was gonna spend the money, and this is cheaper. I think it's $29. I keep getting emails on them. This is cheaper. And Network Chuck is a trainer here. This is significantly cheap. No, I'm gonna say this is more expensive. This server is cheaper. I was like, I get emails like $29 a month or something like that. This is $59 a month, I believe. Let's go. And we're already at 50 minutes. Yeah, $59 a month. So if you say 50% off, it was even more expensive, I guess. It's crazy. It's getting increased. I think, yeah. But so here is actually geared towards certification tracks. So again, in it, like obviously you select like for me, like here, administration and engineering, and then go through your stuff here, and then once it loads, all right, and then go through all your stuff that you want to do here. Um, I don't like how it does that, but I guess it does this little like spreads it out a certain way. But anyways, like here, like these are directly. I mean, this is like knowledge, right? Like this is an actual certification. BGP, like a whole thing on BGP, right? And this is good for like CCIE people. Some CCNP stuff. Um, this is real cool. Like I will benefit. Like so some stuff I do want to learn, like VMware. Um, it's the different version of ESXi, AWS. If you want to learn it, also maybe get certified. There's some stuff like maybe some scripting, like Palo Alto. Getting started with Palo Alto firewalls. That's something I think I would go over. It's just like study material. But for me, for some reason, like advanced topics, maybe this is for CCI. Those stuff is like entry level, scalability mechanisms. Like this is knowledge, but at the same time it gets you through certification track like Sec Plus. I don't know what that is. I'll do that. CDP, like this is cool. So CDP, being an architect, CCIE routing and switching. This is worth it. Like if you have access to this shit, this is something I will do. This is CCIE routing and switching 400 101. Like that's fucking cool. There's actual training series on, and Jeremy Chara, I think he's a two-time CCIE, I believe. CCNP security. Look at all this stuff. Like honestly, like this is something I would pay for. But collaboration, like yeah, Chuck Keith. I don't see network Chuck anywhere here. I think he did the Azure like cloud stuff. Um, but BGP, Juniper, this is work. I always want to get into Juniper now. Like people are like mentioning it, and it does look like it's more accessible, just training wise. But in any case, um, I will pay for this. This is something I will pay for because it's knowledge, but same and also specific knowledge for stuff like I always wanted to learn more, particularly about DNS records for Windows Server, stuff like that. Like I want to know more about BGP or OSPF. There's some stuff on here. I want to know about Palo Alto network firewalls. Palo Alto, I think, will be big in the next 5 years. They will be real big. So like, there's a lot of stuff here that you can benefit from. Just, but at the same time, getting your the security tracks, right? I mean, I'm sorry, the certification tracks. So there's like different stuff you can pull from, but at the same time, like here, there is no. I still don't see any CCNP like new stuff yet. Unfortunately, which sucks. So I will kind of hold off until maybe start now, start some other stuff. Well, start now to take advantage of the cost savings. I don't know, but for me, this is something I would recommend. Or if you're like even tighter budget, right? Because people can't afford a 59. Like I'm quick on pulling the trigger. I don't have this. I purchased the Udemy courses, and then I told it is my budget, right? And then the stuff that I already purchased, which was the Bose on NetSim. That those are the things that I'll be using. I don't like using some of the stuff that's too available, too much for me, because again I get distracted. I don't know what I'm trying to aim for. Overwhelmed with stuff. I need structure. I'm like, all right, do this. Okay, great. All right, now what? Now what? Right. But at the same time, I was doing the security stuff to kind of see whether I like it or not. The networking stuff, I know for sure I like it. I know for sure I take satisfaction of it. So when you give me a path to do something like that, I get excited or to get a bunch of knowledge. But even then, if you give me a bunch of like BGP, OSPF, I don't know what to do. Like I don't know how to learn this. Like what path do I take? Do I take OSPF first, or do I take BGP first? Do I do like the routing principles first? Like what do I do? So I kind of like more structure. So that's the reason why I would prefer CBT Nuggets and Udemy, because they actually layer also in the structure layers down some stuff. It's like someone's teaching you, opposed to kind of like here's the library and there's a bunch of structures everywhere and you can always just change your like whatever, and it's just the interface was clunky. I just didn't enjoy Cyber. Maybe I'll go back to it one day, but for right now, next step honestly would probably be now look at the CBT. I really like that, but probably CBT for sure. Udemy, and for me, I like to be now based on my experience of taking the CCNA to be as cheap as possible, because you buy the cheapest thing first, right? Finish that, like get the book, all kinds of highlight everywhere. The seams, right, are falling apart. You're like this is your Bible, right? You're walking around and you know it so well. You have chapter reviews that you've written up, and it's just like you have maybe if you like writing stuff down, you have like a folder, or you have a notebook full of notes, right? So get to that level, and then make yourself earn the I don't know, like the opportunity, or like force yourself to the point where it's like I have to do it because like study all this other stuff, and I'm not passing these exams, or redo it. I'm like not getting some of the stuff. I'm trying, but I'm not understanding. Then you force yourself to buy a video series. But practice tests are always good, because don't cram the practice test, but take a practice test to see where you're at. Right? Do it every other day or something. Don't memorize it, but gear your studies around the practice test, and then take the test and see where you're at then. But all right, cool. I'm gonna wrap it up here, you guys. So I thought it was 30 minutes. No way. Um, I like to talk, I guess. So I really appreciate it, and thank you for hanging in there with me. And hopefully, you guys have any ideas. This is going up on YouTube, so put your comments down below on like what you would like to hear from me on just my general advice in IT and just my experience. And I'll be pushing more of these videos out every morning. So God bless. Peace.